Changing the narrative. Myself, Ifua Mponsa, and today we've got our guest Olajumoke to talk to us about all about international recruitment or studying abroad because that is what she does best. And she's a champion for higher education. I've been talking to her, and she loves to give that information out to help other people who are looking for opportunities study abroad, everything that they need to and what it entails. So I'm looking forward to this conversation tonight because I know it's going to be very educative, very educational, and very informative as well. But before I let Olajumoke introduce herself. Um, I've got a plea, or I need your support. This year, not changing the narrative, but Triple O Clothing. We've launched the Christmas jumper wear for a smile for Christmas. I don't know what a smile for Christmas is. It's a way of giving back to the community, especially those on the streets or street connected kids. During Christmas time, we try not to leave them out because it's a time for merry. It's a time for cheerful givings and good yield and tidings. So it's a way of giving back to them, making them feel part of the Christmas festivities. So you're like me, sometimes work as well, or friends and family have to wear Christmas jumpers this year. If you can buy from AAA clothing so that the proceeds would help us raise more money to reach out to more kids on the street and feed them during the Christmas festivities, we will be very happy. God will bless you very much. So I'll make a post soon, but just to give the announcement out there that watch out, repost, retweet, share it with your family and friends, share it with your colleagues, buy the jumpers for your friends and colleagues as gifts, and we really appreciate it. So without wasting much more time, Olajumoke, good evening and welcome to Changing the Narrative. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation to be our guest for today or tonight. So if you can please introduce yourself to our listeners, that would be great.
Thank you so much, Afua, for having me. Good evening, everyone. I don't know where you're watching from, so I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Olajumoke, like Afua said, but you can call me Jimmy. That's what everyone calls me. All right. So I am from Nigeria, but currently living in the UK. And I also just recently completed my master's degree in the UK. I work for Aston University in Birmingham. And for over 3 years now, I've been in the international recruitment space, supporting students that want to come to the UK to study. So if you're joining us today and that is your dream, or you just want to learn more about the higher education sector, I'm your plug and I'm here to answer all your questions. And I'm just going to allow Afua to anchor this. So once she's ready, I will take you through presentation that I've prepared for you. So how it's going to be is I'm going to do the presentation, and when I'm done, you have time to ask questions and I'll be happy to answer you. As scheduled, I think the session is going to be like an hour, right? So I'm going to try as much as possible to give us enough time to answer our questions. So yes, you're welcome again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. One question, what are you studying? What did you study?
All right, so I studied strategic digital marketing. My background is actually in accounting. Funny, I was initially captivated by the field of accounting, but over time, although I still love working with numbers, but I realized that I wasn't cut out for the monotonous nature of accounting. I like to be part of a more dynamic work environment, working with diverse people. It's quite interesting being part of strategic sessions, and that led me to pursuing strategic digital marketing because you're not going to stop talking or interacting if you do that kind of course.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So without wasting much more time, we'll allow you to do your presentation and we'll be taking questions in the comment section. So if you're listening and you got any questions, or as Jumi is presenting, if any questions, kindly put it in the comment section, and we will be willing to ask and answer it at the same time. So the floor is all yours.
Okay, I can see you can all see my fine picture. All right, so the topic we've coined it together and we called it navigating international education. So I'm going to be talking in three parts. I'll talk you through why you should consider studying abroad, and if you're also listening and you want to start out in the higher education sector, you want to be recruiting students to the UK or any other country, but in particular, I would also be covering that. Then I'll also be talking about the application process in case you are a prospective student and you want to apply to study in the UK. Forgive me, but this session I'm going to be talking more about the UK market. So let's talk about why do you need to study abroad? The first and obvious reason, cultural immersion. If you're someone that likes diversity, you like something new, something exploratory, study abroad is for you. When you come to the UK, for example, you're going to meet a lot of people you never thought you would even see in person in your life. People from different countries that you probably have just seen them on TV in the past, but you have close contact with them. You learn new languages, you see the way people behave compared to where you're from. The culture here is rich, so you're going to be immersed in diverse culture. Then the networking opportunity that comes with studying abroad is enormous. In class, you're going to meet students, you meet professionals, you meet colleagues from different walks of life, you network, and this network are going to be there for a long time for you, and you can always tap back to them. Then the UK is really known for having strong academic excellence. In the UK, you're going to find a lot of university that have good and prestigious name. When you're thinking about Oxford University, Cambridge University, a lot of universities like that can be found in the UK, and there is academic excellence here. Then I'll talk about the personal and professional growth that you're going to be enjoying. So the thing about studying abroad is that it gives you your own independence. So it pushes you outside of your comfort zone. When you're in your country, you're comfortable. You can just, even if you're not doing so much, you have your family who will just be there for you. But when you're here, even when you have family in another country, you have this sense of resilience. You want to do something new, you want to adapt to new culture, new weather. It just gives you confidence. It helps you to be more resistant in terms of your day-to-day life, and that helps you. It gives you a sense of self, which is really great. Then you grow professionally. Now, a lot of companies really value international education, and the UK certificate is recognized anywhere in the world. So it just makes you to grow professionally. Also, if you're checking out job descriptions now, you hear a lot of employers saying, "Oh, we need someone who is sensitive about culture and diversity. We need someone who can work with any team." And these are the things you get in classrooms. You work on projects with people from different countries, and this all of this, that's where you will find number six reason, resume enhancement. You can say that, oh, I'm coming from Nigeria or Ghana or another country, and probably the skills they're looking for, you don't have them. These are some of the skills you can infuse into your resume. Being in class with diverse students is a skill you can sell. Being able to work in teams with diverse students is a skill you can sell. So just being a student at all in the UK, you get a lot of skills that you can put on your resume. And then who will not be fulfilled that I'm traveling abroad, I'm doing something new, different from the usual. It gives you a sense of personal fulfillment. UK is an English speaking country, so your communication skill will be enhanced, right? And then the academic standard here, it might be different from where you're coming from. So you have new perspective on education. Of course, you're going to be exploring a lot. and doing adventure. When you come abroad to study, you can even start a vlog, you can start your own page where you just talk about traveling abroad. So yes, exploration and adventure, you find them when you decide to study abroad. So continuing about the UK, the appeal of the UK, what makes UK really stand out? So when you're considering other high ranking countries for study like Australia, USA, Canada, is very easy for you to get admission and visa if you're considering the UK. What you need to know is what are the entry requirements for the school? What are they asking from for? If you have all of them, you can be sure that you get your admission. And then UK have very high visa success rates, especially student visa.
Really?
Then I've mentioned already the academic excellence. And when you're looking at different courses, talk about the kind of course that you want. You will find them here. You find course on science, on social science, engineering, business, name them all, you'll find them in the UK. And compared to other country, if you're doing masters, for example, it's 1 year, except for some handful programs that extend up to 2 years or more. Then recognition of certificates everywhere in the world. The teaching methods are excellent. When I got here to study, I noticed that the teaching was so different. For instance, I wanted to, when I chose to do strategic digital marketing, I was hoping that we'll be taught a lot about social media, about doing marketing campaign, but it was so different. I had to work with real life businesses. I was studying, but it felt like I was working because a company leader will just show up in my class to say, these are the challenges we're experiencing in XYZ company now, and these are the solutions we're expecting. And the solution they're expecting is related to the module you're doing. It means that you're going to carry the company's problem on your head and find a solution and consult to the company on what they should do. That is what masters is a lot is for some courses here. They see you as a professional already. It was different from what I was used to. Nobody was asking me what is digital marketing, what do you have to, what is this, list this and that. No, it's very practical. So it's different and it's very innovative and it's quite rigorous. I must prepare your mind for that. Then, if you're thinking about a place that is not too far from a lot of countries, you should think about the UK, the multicultural society. There's rich cultural heritage. And unlike some countries that different countries that have guns and can move around with guns, the UK is quite safe. This is a country where you can be walking by 3 a.m. and it's like afternoon. You just see people walking about. It's quite safe. People have sense of safety. Then there is postgraduate work opportunities when you're done, like the graduate travel visa that allows you to work after school for 2 years. That opportunity is also there. Now, let's talk about getting started as an higher education recruiter. You're watching and you're saying, okay, I love the higher education space. I'm just interested in education. How do I build a career as a recruiter? You can either start out as an international officer or you start as an agent. So, if you've seen people, probably you've gone for education fair and you find staff of the university coming to the fair to talk to students. These staff are most likely international officers, although they might be called conversion officer, regional manager, counselors. But the general name they're called are international officers because they work within the international office of the university. So you can say that. So, how do I get into this space? Talking from experience, I would say that this is a very, very exciting career path to choose because if you're in country, let's say you are in Ghana or you're in Nigeria or your own country and you're working for a university in the UK, they're going to pay you in the UK currency. And that means that you have more value for that money because you are not spending the money in the UK. So it's good, and then it gives you opportunity to impact lives. You get to travel to different places, courtesy of of the university, and then the university also brings you to the UK back and forth. So it's a really fulfilling career. So if you want to get started, I'll say go to jobs.ac.uk, check out the vacancies that are there, and then look at the skills and the requirement they're asking for people who want to work with the university. That will help you to know what skill to develop, what you need to have. At least you need a bachelor's degree. You need that, probably in the field of education, international relations, marketing. It might not be really necessary that you have a degree in this field sometimes, but when you have the degree in this field, it might just give you some edge, right? Then essential skills. Some of the skills I have listed them out here. You will need good communication skills, interpersonal skills, because the job have to do with you relating with people every step of the way. The job is target driven. So you need to have good collaboration abilities to be able to meet with your target and relate with partners, colleges and agencies. Then you need sales and marketing skills. Now, universities are beginning to ask for data analysis skills because you need to work with a lot of data. And for your own market, you need to be able to make sense of the market. So you need data analysis skills, you need good IT skills. If you're working for a university back home, and the university is like miles away from you, they want to be sure that you are an independent thinker. They don't need to spoon feed you to get job done. They want somebody that can work independently and still produce results. And of course, teamwork. So you also need industry knowledge. For you to get industry knowledge, I would advise that you read a lot about global education trends. You should be familiar with platforms like Buila, HESA, ICEF Monitor, UNESCO statistics, and UUK. So if you go online, just check out these platforms. You'll be able to get a lot of news about higher education. Just get familiar, immerse yourself into the information. Then, if you want to gain practical experience, I would say that you can consider internships or volunteering. But importantly, let me talk to you about networking. So the easiest way for you to get into the international officer space is to network. So if you know a lot of people that work in the sector, they start out as either working for an agency or starting as a counselor. But my own story is quite different because I had to skip that process and just jumped to international officer role just like that. So how did that happen? I was initially working for a co-working space back in Nigeria, and then one of the international officer who was working, the regional manager had an office at the workspace. So I just built a relationship with him. We got talking, so he could quickly tell me that there is a vacancy. Can you apply? This person is already familiar with my skills and knows what I can do. And they just gave me the opportunity to say, I'm giving you the opportunity to compete for this role. And I applied, and here we are. So these are not the kind of roles. I never even knew that these roles existed, to be honest. I never knew. And you will not find them on maybe job magazines or something in your own country. So you need to find these people by following them online. When you search for international officers, name of universities, you would find a lot of them on LinkedIn. Follow them. If there are vacancies in this sector, they will most likely post them on LinkedIn or tell people around them or post it in just like a small group. It's not really something you just find on the street. And then go to education fairs. When you go for fairs, you would also be able to network and meet with them. Then, importantly, just like what Afua is doing, like establish a personal brand. Now, if you're getting yourself updated on global education trends, why don't you just come on your own platform and talk about it? Build yourself as a thought leader in the sector. That way, you get recognized, and it's easy for you to just apply and get into the sector. Then, if you're not, so international officer is like a long shot, but if you want to start the usual way, you start as an education counselor. Because before you can have an agency, you need to have worked for an agency. So an agency, you probably have had an encounter with some of the study abroad agencies. They probably have helped you before. So you can't just wake up one morning and say, I'm starting an agency. No university will sign you without a track record. So for you to build a track record, you take a job with an agency. All right. So, and of course, you need at least a bachelor's degree to work for an agency. Most people that work for an agency, they began as stand assistants. Stand assistants are people that support university representatives during higher education fairs. So just volunteer to be stand assistant, or and then you need all of the skills I've mentioned before. When you get a job as a counselor, what you need to focus on, learn about application, learn about visa, learn about conversion, learn about meeting targets, and then build relationship with the university representatives that are working with that agency. That's your job when you go there. You're going there to build a career, not to sit there and end there. So when you go there and you're able to build this kind of portfolio, it's now easy for you to approach universities because now you've been able to do application and get a lot of students to higher institution. So you have that record to show to the university that, oh, in 2021 I sent 200 students under and so agency to university of this. So you have something to show for it, and they will definitely ask you for references. So those relationships that you have built with university representatives, you can approach them to say, "Can you give me recommendation or reference? I'm trying to sign up with this university." And that is how you get started. That's how a lot of people began their own agencies. And also, you can start as a sub agent as well. Sub agents are, you don't have direct contracts with the university, but you have connection with agencies. So you send those agencies students, those agencies process them to the university. Then when the university paid that agency commission, the agency splits it with you. You can begin as a sub agent as well. So now let's talk about application process. You're a student or a prospective student. You're thinking, how do I apply? How do I get on to any course in the UK? First thing first, research, 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 and plan. Now, I'll tell you a very funny story of one of my classmates. Strategic digital marketing. When you think about the cost digital marketing, what might come to your mind is they're just going to be talking to us about social media, about marketing campaigns, and so on. And that was what that classmate of mine was expecting in the class. So he got confused when he got on campus, and the things we were doing were more of strategy, were more of consultation, professionalism, advice. They were very, very technical. One day in class, he busted out and told one of our professor and said, "This was not what I bargained for. What I came for here, I want to learn about how to run campaigns, learn about different platforms to do digital marketing, not all this strategic session." So the thing is, the lecturer told him that, well, all of these things you wanted to come here to learn are things you can learn on YouTube. They are not things you should pay pounds, a lot of pounds to come and learn. So there are platforms. So they call it professional development program. So that is different, and there are things you do in your own leisure. You are going to do them, but it's not like the course. So, and these things were on the university's website. The course modules were there, but this person did not check. So, whatever it is you're looking for, does it go with your career path, your goal, what you want to do? Check the nooks and crannies of the modules you're going for on the university's website. You will always find it. So let's say you're considering a university in cities. You have to know what city. Is it Birmingham? Is it London? Then you go on Google to search universities in London. You want universities with high ranking. universities with high ranking, just do your research and plan adequately and then check entry requirements. I'll tell you something about entry requirements. You might not meet up with the entry requirements of some schools. There's a particular student that did something quite impressive. There was a university that did not really take HND, and the students have HND, but really wants this course. The student know that he has the experience to get onto the course. So this student went on the website of the university, found the name of the course leader and the email address, then poached the course leader to say, I am interested in this course. This is my background. I know it doesn't really meet up with the entry requirement, but this is what I have done, and this is what I can bring to class. This is what you can expect of me as a student. You know, the student sold herself to the course leader. The course leader said, you know what, apply. This student applied and got an unconditional offer without stress. So sometimes when you just know what you want and you see this university is going to give me what I want, just go ahead and talk to the right person or write a very strong personal statement that would give you that course. Then review application requirements for each university and program. Like I mentioned earlier, the major documents you would need are transcripts. You need to write good personal statement. If your country, check the English entry requirements of the university. Sometimes they will tell you if you have your WASE or you have your WAEC, you have credits in English, you don't need to write any English language requirements exam. So check the website to be sure you don't need to write an English language exam, and then you need your certificates. And if you're doing arts related courses, they might require that you provide portfolio of evidence for courses like graphic design, illustration, all those creative courses. You might need to add portfolio to your application. Then you can either submit your application online or use a study abroad agency to help you submit it through the agent portal. Then there are some schools you also have to check. Some schools, like for example, Durham University, you need to pay like £60 for you to apply. But there are a lot of schools in the UK that have no application fee. It's free. You just go on the website and apply. I know some of you are always scared to do this application yourself. It is not hard at all. It is not. You can do it yourself. Just go on the website, do it, and check for deadlines so that you can plan adequately. When you get your offer would either be conditional or unconditional. When you're given a conditional offer, it means that there are certain conditions you need to fulfill for your offer to be unconditional. So read it and know what the conditions are so that your offer doesn't get withdrawn. And the important part, you move on to visa application. Um, I did a post about how you can do a successful visa application on my page. You can check it out. It's quite easy. You can do it by yourself, but if you're not sure, you can use an agent to do your visa application for you. So the process is quite straightforward when you're in the UK. So then if you are following the news, you will know that accommodation is a thing for international students in the UK right now. So you need to, for me, I had to plan way ahead to for my accommodation. I did 6 months. I planned 6 months ahead and got my accommodation before coming during my start date. So you need to plan for your accommodation as early as possible. Your travel arrangement, your arrival and enrollment, they demand adequate planning. Then I just want to talk more about the deadlines. The deadlines usually vary when it comes to university and program for undergraduate applications because it is being regulated by UCAS. Your application should have been submitted by January 15 for most programs starting in September, but some universities accept applications until June. But for postgraduate application, it varies, but they're typically between April and June for September intake. All right. So let's talk about the different international education. You have degree programs. It could either be undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD. So, and there are language courses. There is actually a visa for students coming to the UK to study English language. It's called the short-term visa. Then there are foundation programs in case you do not meet up with entry requirements for a lot of schools. They usually have foundation programs. So let's say, for instance, they want you to have AAA in your A levels, but you do not have it, and you really want that course. They'll say, come for the foundation program, which is usually like a year or so. So you do a foundations program. When you're done, you move on straight to year one. Then there are summer programs that you can also come for. There are short professional courses for professionals, sometimes just few days or a month. Then the UK universities now have really embraced study abroad programs. There is usually called mobility programs. So, and most of the universities are doing it. So what the way you can enjoy this is to always ask questions when you get to a university or you're researching a university. You can do 2 years if you're doing undergraduate course, and then 1 year you go to another country entirely to also do 1 year. So a study abroad is being funded. Is being funded by the UK government under a program that was formerly known as Erasmus. So now it's touring, TURING. They will sponsor your study abroad, they'll fund the cost. So just read about it. There are also exchange programs where a student of a particular university will be sent to another university, then another student from that university will be exchanged in place of that student. Most universities in the UK do exchange programs. Then distance learning, if you don't have time, but you really want a UK degree, there are a lot of online program you can also do. I know this is a part that a lot of you will be interested in scholarships and funding. I have had the opportunity of assessing a lot of scholarship for the university I work for. And what I've noticed is that while a lot of students apply for scholarships, they do not really pay attention to the requirements of the scholarship. And that is why they don't get it. If a scholarship is telling you this is the requirements, these are the things that we're looking for. Let's say a scholarship is saying it's an ambassadorial scholarship, and that they are looking for somebody who can lead, somebody who can represent the university. If you're writing an application for that kind of scholarship and you're not projecting yourself as a leader, you're not projecting yourself as somebody that can represent the university, there's no way you can get it. So, most of the time, the best way to do this is to use practical examples. If you're saying that, don't just come and say, I have good leadership skill, tell us what have you done with your leadership skill? Give us example. There are a lot of scholarships that will tell you, oh, it's for people who have done something for their environment, people who have made impacts in their different environment. Don't just come and say, I have passion to change the world. There are people like you that have passion to change the world. Tell us. Maybe you've done a program before and you fed like 1,000 people, and the results, this was the result. Also, you created a platform that helped this and that. Be very practical. So I'll say use like the STAR technique, STAR, talk about the situation. What were the challenge as at that period? So what were the tasks? What did you do? What did you do to provide solution to those problems? What were the actions you took, and what were the results? Use the STAR technique, and so that way it would whoever the thing is. For me now, there are a lot of scholarships. A lot of students apply for scholarships, and they can just say, "We're giving you a day to access all of these scholarships." You expect me to sit down and be rereading your application? I will not, because I'm working with time. So your first statement, your first paragraph must really be capturing for me to be very interested in going further. Sometimes when I just read like the first line, I'm already discouraged. Some people do not even they don't even know what they're talking about. We're asking you questions. Tell us what you've done and the biggest problem in your country and how you've preferred a solution. That's one of the scholarships, like our Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. You know, tell me, I want to be convinced that you really need scholarship, and that is where your research come in. When you talk about situation, also let us talk about the fact that you really know about this university. Read your modules very well and link the modules, the lecture, link everything to what you want to achieve. It makes it convincing that you've done your research, you know about the university, you're passionate, you've done something. You will start have a high chance of getting those scholarships. So the different scholarships you have, university scholarships on the website. One of the best thing you should do when you see that there is a scholarship offer, because trust me, there are usually scholarship offers. Go online, you will find a lot of them. But the question is, will you get it? The first assignment you have, read line upon line, precept upon precept of every part of that scholarship requirements, and then follow it to the letter. You don't even need to do too much. Follow the requirements to the letter. So there are government scholarships like Commonwealth Scholarship, Chevening Scholarship, Erasmus Scholarship. Then there are a lot of organizations. Be sure that the organizations that want to give you a scholarship is recognized by your university. Some university will tell you there are certain kind of organizations they can accept sponsorship or scholarship for the student. And so if you have like maybe you're working with a company and your company wants to sponsor you, some university will tell you that the organization should pay the money into your account. They might not just recognize them, but if they pay it into your account, you can accept that. Then look out for subject specific scholarships. If you want to study artificial intelligence, for example, you can type artificial intelligence scholarships in the UK. You will see a lot of them. So if you're doing a particular course, type it, then put scholarship and the country there. You will see a lot of options. Then sports scholarship for people that are interested in sports, you can also find those. Then about funding, I know that one of the major challenge that students face is funding. Trust me about. So when you're coming to the UK and then looking at the conversion rate, pounds to your local currency is scary. You will get discouraged by the end of that day. so so think about the fact that you can actually do part-time work, but I want to place a caveat. I tell students, if you are coming to the UK to study and you are thinking about doing part-time work to complete your tuition fee, I would say pay 50% at least. Because the job you're going to be getting as a part-time worker, I mean, you'll be looking at maybe £10, £11 per hour, half hour, right? So you can really say for a program that is £24,000 and you pay £2,000 and you have 1 year and you want to do a part-time work to pay £20,000, my dear, you may not even pass that program
No
because
problem. Yeah.
pressure will not let you pass. Because by the time you get home and you're receiving email from the finance team asking you, have you made payment? What's going on? Then that's why you should. For instance, the school I studied at, University of South Wales, they had like 7 instrumental payments, which is really good. It was really good for students. So they expect you to pay like 50%. When you pay the 50%, they would break down the balance for you 7 times. So students could work and pay. So when you're looking at funding, as you also look at schools that have very good instrumental plans. Some schools even do as much as 9 installments. So look at schools that gives you flexibility when it comes to payment. There are schools that will only allow you to pay twice. So consider planning for first 50% at least when you're coming to the UK. Then what are the challenges you might face in your quest of studying abroad? Definitely cultural adjustments. You might not be familiar with some of the culture. It might be both exciting and challenging at the same time, but with time you would get used to it. You're going to miss home. It will not be I was told to write because I never even thought that I was going to live in the UK. It wasn't really things I've ever considered. I really like home. So the first 1 month coming from my master's, I really missed home. That when we were asked to write essay about personal development, I had to put it there to say I am not feeling being here. I wrote it down that I'm having anxiety being in another country. So it's something you might also experience. You experience homesickness, then academic rigor. To be honest, I said that as I'm coming here, I'm just going to explore all the places I did not explore the last time I was in the UK. I just want to travel around the UK throughout my master's degree. But sorry to disappoint you, I did not go anywhere. I did
What
not
does
go
life
anywhere.
let you? I,
It was back to back. My last Christmas, I spent it doing research. It was hectic. If I say hectic, it was terribly hectic.
Mhm.
So, and it also depends on on the program you're coming from. There are programs that are more technical than the other, but my own program, in case you're thinking about coming to University of Southwest to do strategy digital marketing, just brace up, brace yourself up. So then financial stress, because when you come and you do not plan for your accommodation, when you come in, you might first have issue with landlords, payments and all that, and your first module is already going is going. This is how people feel. So that is where you have to go back to adequate planning. Then you might end up facing some visas and immigration challenges you never even thought you would experience, maybe with your BRP or work permit and all. But just read and read so that you know how many hours you're supposed to work, the kind of job you could take. You cannot be working and an employer is offering you permanent work and you took it, you are not doing anything good for your visa. You're already planning to go back to your country. Then, so some of the solutions and the support services you will find, there are student unions, there are associations, mental health support. You will find a lot of academic support at the as career services, financial support, part-time work. Just use all the resources your school have. Use them up. You paid for it. Most students don't use them. They don't use it. Some students don't even know that you could work with your university when you are studying. The first 2 months I got here, I worked with the university. The first thing I did was to go to the university's website and see what do they have in plan. And I said that, oh, okay, they have some openings for students. And I took it up because then leaving home, I left my Aston University job in Nigeria before I took the job back in the UK. I had like 2 months that I was just busy without work. So I just took a job with the university. So I didn't really had to spend 1 day without working. So use all the resources that the university is giving to you. So yes, I am going to end the presentation here. So that I don't know if we have enough time. Oh wow, I spoke a lot.
If you have, if there's more information to give it, because at the end of the day, yes, the sometimes if the information is good and handy, people don't need questions because all in the information being relayed to them. So I would say if there's any more information you feel would be good for our listeners, then you should give it.
Yeah, yeah.
You still got you still got
Yeah, of
we have
course. So we have 10
we
minutes
have
to take
questions
questions.
yet. I've got questions, but we haven't got any questions in the comment session yet.
Chat.
So I would say
Okay.
yeah. So I have a question. you talked about the recruitment officer thing back home. Um, so with that, did you use that website, the job
Jobs.ac.uk.
jobs.ac? Is that where you applied for the job whilst you were in Nigeria to then Nigeria for Aston, or do you do that?
Oh, okay. The so at that time, ASU University had an Africa office. They had a representative back in Nigeria. So they
Okay.
used the Nigerian representative to recruit for the role. So it was just someone telling me about it, that
Okay.
there is this job opportunity. Would you like to apply? But you know that on jobs.ac.uk, you can actually apply for a role at a university that would bring you to the UK to do the role if you're qualified.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
opportunity.
So that is why, yes, if you're very qualified, you could apply. And because most of the role on jobs.ac.uk are actually for in country, they are looking for people in the UK compared to in your country back home. That's why I said LinkedIn is the best place if you're looking for a role in your country. But you need to follow the people that will potentially post this role. You need to look
This
out for
role, yeah.
regional managers, look out for international officers. Just follow them away because they will most likely be the ones that will post it, that will post them. You might not find them in job vacancies, and but you will find them on LinkedIn. And then that's
To be
where
honest,
also,
now that I'll probably look out for names like that and share it for people
yeah, yeah.
to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the
I'm not
people, you can also just check the
asking for
people I follow. Most of the people I
mhm,
follow are international officers, they are regional
okay.
managers. So I give you can just go there and just connect with them, then also still search and connect with more
Yeah.
people as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one thing that you see, missing home and the job and stuff. I think that could be another topic on its own, because I know I've spoken to a few international students, and
Yeah.
just that the pressure as well, left home to come for school, and sometimes it's just you step foot on the international soil. Everyone thinks like things are the money will be
Life is
flowing.
good for you.
And before you know, there'll be that pressure from home and stuff. And
Yeah,
like I
true.
said, that could be another thing on its own.
I
But
mean, yeah.
again, it's part of the resilience you need to sort of
Yeah.
build for yourself. No family, trust me, they'll be okay. If you keep
There will
giving
be.
into it, it will only add to your stress. They will be okay if you don't send that extra 20 pounds or whatever. They will be okay. They'll find ways and means to survive. So don't add to that stress, because studying on it's stressful.
It's stressful.
Yeah, and there's one thing that you said as well with planning your schedule and everything with work, trying to go around and all of that. Before know, you've given up on one, or you're slacking on
Yeah.
your studies, because I speak from experience where this evening I need to read this particular chapter, and if I don't, trust me, it adds up quickly. Before I know, the next lecture is due, and it's also added to my reading. Before you know, all these extra assignments that you can't,
Yeah.
a lot of it you can't blag it. You need to read it to
It's
answer
just a
it.
lot of materials to
Yes,
cover. A
yes,
lot, yeah.
and yeah, if you don't know how to plan, trust me, it will come creeping in very quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
And the area of, I think one thing I also did not mention is the area of plagiarism. I mean,
mm,
everything you're doing has to be original. If there is any form of you plagiarizing, you're facing panel. That's not even good for you at all. That's
yeah.
also a fact.
Yes. A few. I don't know them personally, but I've heard people that have lost their credibility because of that. Some it wasn't even intentional, but it's just because
Hmm.
they've not applied, the knowledge properly, that it ended up them losing their credibility. So yeah, that area is very important as well. And there's one thing that you mentioned about um, the statement of purpose. Um, I've encountered a few being here, and yes, if mind you, there's a lot of applications as it is, so you need to stand out. And if your first sentence or hook is not hooking the reader, that's something you've probably that's an opportunity you've lost. So don't take it for granted. I know a lot of people will hear this and only few would apply it, but it would be very good to apply it, because if you lose the reader with your opening, that's it. You probably would have said a lot in the middle, but because you've not been able to get them to even read further, an opportunity. So spend time on your SOP, spend time on your statement of purpose, spend time on your people call it different things, and then get people to read it. I always say don't look for people that will give you or tell you what you want to hear. Let those that would really, really, really give you what you need, not what you want to hear, what you need to hear. And
Hmm.
those that will tell you the hard truths, those are the kind of people you need around when you're writing these stuff, so that you have a better chance of your scholarship, or even moving to the interview stage. But yes, Jumi, it's been a pleasure. It's been very
Same
educational.
here.
It's been very
Thank you
informative.
so much for having me, Afua.
You're very welcome. Thanks for honoring our invitation. And you've also given us a different path to the whole studying abroad event that we do, because we solely or mainly on scholarship. Though you briefly touched on it, you've also touched on the recruitment side, which a lot of people don't know. People uni or come to do their masters, and they look at KFC, McDonald's, and all of these extra places, not knowing they can actually work on with the university. You don't even know to go for work. You can
Yeah.
be on campus and still be working to get paid. There's a lot of universities that actually would love international students to sort of advocate for them, so
Yeah.
that we can get more international students to add to obviously the culture and everything, and also with the expertise that we have. We have a lot of smart people from back home that also add to and the richness of the university. So I would say yes, that is the to start with. If you're a graduate student, or looking to be, have this in mind, and look at the links that we've posted in the comment section. And good luck to everybody and anybody, the opportunities to study abroad. Follow Jumi, and then look for the people that she also follows, because that's where you can get all these connections in. Trust me, there's a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn. So far as you make use of it, you will get connected to the right people that will lead you to the right places, and also to get the right opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn, so far as you make use of it. So yes, talking so much. Thank you all once again, and we will look forward to our next event. Next month, we've got Peter, who I'm still talking to, and hopefully we can bring you another episode or another event full of education and information to help you on your graduate journey. Again, I will be posting soon on AAA Clothing. We're advocating for street connected kids during the Christmas festivities, to also give them the opportunity to enjoy the Christmas season by feeding them. We call it Feed the Streets, or a Smile for Christmas, we put on the faces of these kids. So Feed the Streets is more for Starlight Foundation, who are in partner with AAA clothing. Feed the Streets and A Smile for Christmas in collaboration. We're trying to, you know, give back to the community, especially those street connected kids. So look out for AAA clothing, buy from the A Smile for Christmas collection so that we can get them, or more the donation or the proceeds from this will be used towards streets or given back to the street with the street connected kids. So thank you once again, and thanks for joining us. Have a lovely evening and enjoy your weekend. Take care and bye for now.